Alright guys, it's time for what I think is the strongest Arc Warlock build in PvP right now. Now, this build has always been super strong since it came out, but this season Bungie said, nah, we must go further beyond. So here we have this beautiful and honest build right here. Now, some may call this cheese, but don't listen. No, they're just haters, alright? This is the pinnacle of skill. They just don't understand, alright? Now, what you need for this honest build here is you need Lightning Surge, and that's it. You need Lightning Surge and Electrostatic Mind, okay? Put Chain Lightning on as well, and then for your fragments, you want to go Spark of Haste, Spark of Resistance, and Spark of Feedback. Now, after that, I think you can pick whatever fourth one you want. I just picked this one for the recovery. It doesn't really do anything else. You could probably run Spark of Recharge, that could be good as well, but I like the recovery because, I don't know, my brain's like, ooh, big number 100, so it makes me happy, so I like to see that when I go to the character screen, literally. So basically, the way you're going to play this is you're going to slide, you're going to click your melee, then you're going to go to the lighthouse repeatedly. In that order, that's literally how it works. So obviously this melee is super strong, it's always been really strong. As you can see from the stats, we're gonna build into recovery and strength. After that, I would go for 6 resilience. If you can't do that, then you can lower it down to like 2 and then just dump it into intellect. I will say if you're not getting your super in like a trials match, probably go for discipline instead, but if you get your high enough intellect, you should be able to get a super. I'm actually usually the first super in the game because you get all these like ionic traces from the melees as well, so people forget about that. But basically, here's what the build is going to come down to and why it's so good this season. It's even better than normal. It's going to be because of this new mod here, Heavy Handed. Your powered melee final blows will create orbs of power. So every time you're getting a melee kill, you're making an orb. And we're going to run melee kickstart. So just using your melee gives you more melee back. I don't know why that's even a thing. Like, anyway, just the sound of that is just weird. Just using it gives it back. So using your melee, it just reduces the cooldown. And then we're going to pair that with Better Already. So this is really where this build starts to be like better than it normally is. Like, because you're making an orb when you get the melee kill, and you're just picking up the orb too, because you're like making it on yourself, you know, like if that makes sense. So you're picking up an orb instantly, and you're just going to start healing, and you're going to get more melee back if you run Invigoration. So it's kind of like a second melee kickstart almost. Not quite as much, but still, every bit adds up. Yeah, basically that's the new mods this season that kind of breaks this even more. Heavy-handed melee kickstart, and then Invigoration and Better Already. So what it will look like in game is you'll slide, get a melee kill, or 2 or 3, or however many people are on the map. Then you'll pick up an orb from it for free just because of that mod, and you'll start healing, and you'll have about like 50 to 60% of your melee back already. It's kind of like having Karnsteins built in, not quite as good, but I mean, it's a mod that costs 1 versus a whole exotic, so I think it's definitely worth. So you don't need to run Karnsteins with this in my opinion anymore. I've been running Ophidians. You could probably run Claws, but I think that's a bit overkill. I don't really think you need 2 of these melee charges. I mean, you can, it's definitely an option, but I mean, you don't even really need it, to be honest, especially not in trials. So yeah, you could definitely mess around with the exotic. That's the other thing with this build. You could use something else if you like something better. It's not like dependent on the exotic really. So yeah, definitely let me know what you guys think you want to run for an exotic. It's like I said, it's up to like personal preference really. So anyway, essentially when you slide in, you'll get a melee kill, you'll start healing immediately, you'll get your melee cooldown, and you'll also be amplified. A lot of people don't realize that you get amplified every time because of our aspects. When you pick up a trace, you become amplified, and it makes a trace every time. So yeah, you'll be amplified, you'll be full health, and you'll have your melee back in probably about 20 seconds if you have strength, so 100 strength. So yeah, I can talk about a couple tips real quick, just some quick things to know if you haven't used this before. It's low-key kind of random, I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes you just nuke everyone and it doesn't even make sense. Sometimes people survive kind of low health, but one thing's for sure, like, you are doing some damage. So if you fly in at a full team, I think it kind of depends on if you kill one. So from what I've noticed is if one dies during your melee, they kind of all die. But if they don't die, then they're all gonna survive like one shot, if that makes any sense at all. So really you want like a little bit of damage on one person, and then you can just fly in, literally just send it. If you like my teammates, they'll say like, oh, I tagged one for 60, and I'm like, oh, I'm going in, dude, like it's time. And so when someone gets tagged once and you fly in, you're getting like a double or triple. However, whoever's too close enough to each other, like whoever's playing as a team too well, is gonna get just destroyed by this. So it's really good for like teams camping in little corners, like maybe playing on some Titan shields. But yeah, speaking of Titan shields, that's another little tip. You can kind of just go through Titan shields sometimes. Like a lot of times it'll catch people off guard if you get someone low and they put Titan shield, maybe there's two of them hiding behind it. I'll just go through it, man. Like just send it, just fly in. Like you'll get a double usually. Like it's actually crazy. So like a lot of times I'll fly in through the Titan shield, get 2 kills, grab the orb, I'm full health, the third guy's running in because they're like, oh, you ran through my shield. Nah, you're full health and you're zooming because you're amplified. Like nobody's low health with this build. So that's one thing. The other thing is, oddly enough, if you do the melee, like the plane of existence the other person is on does not matter. You will just teleport to the sky. You will teleport on top of things. Like if you slide on the ground and they're above you on something, you'll just go right up to them. Like it doesn't make any sense, but it doesn't matter. It just tracks right to them. So definitely keep that in mind. A lot of times you can catch people off guard by just flying in and like sliding up to them. You just kind of like rubber band upwards. I don't know why it does that, but it does. Another trick is to sort of throw your arc bolt grenade. That's what I do, and then I'll go in. That's kind of like basically a guaranteed kill. If you get an arc bolt chain, especially if it hits 2 people and you go in, you're gonna get at least a double. Obviously people use this with grenade launchers. It's really good to like shoot the floor with the wave frame and fly in. That's another option. I don't really like doing that as much, but every once in a while it's kind of fun to mess around with. But overall, my main tip would just to be like, if you're seriously trying to make this work well, which it does, you can play very well with this and beat very good teams with it. It's not just cheese, like it's actually very good. So you need to sort of be patient. Like you kind of have to like maneuver and wait for like certain opportunities. Like if your teammate gets sniped or something and you know the other team's gonna push in, that's a good opportunity to do it. Sometimes you just kind of have to send it and go for it and hope that you're right. Like it's a lot of like predicting and hoping they're all close together, you know. So yeah, sometimes you'll mess up and you'll just kind of fly in and die, but overall it's a very easy class to play. Really, you're literally just going for the melee. So very easy to learn. You do kind of have to be a little smart with it against some good teams. So just keep that in mind. But anyway, that's the build here. I've been running this all weekend in trials. I think it's very good on indoor maps. It's actually kind of top tier, I think. I used to run the old Stormcaller. I love the arc web and everything, so I'm actually kind of glad that it's viable again. But yeah, I'm gonna be making a few builds in a row here, I think. I've been having a lot of fun with that now that you can like actually save them. I would never save them before because it was so hard to do. So now it's super nice, great change. So I'll be making a few more. Let me know if that's something you want to see. As always, leave a like and subscribe, definitely helps me out. But I appreciate all the support, and I'll see you guys next time.